Breaking, Nancy Pelosi issues nasty response to Trump's overseas trip. If you're an American voter, I can tell you exactly what Nancy Pelosi thinks of you. She thinks you're an idiot, and her latest statement proves it. After President Trump's talk with NATO members, reminding them to pay their fair share, Nancy Pelosi had a fit. She said, President Trump's brash and condescending lecture to NATO leaders disrespected our closest allies and dishonored the Common Defense Pact that has been a guarantor of global security for nearly 7 decades, via Dennis Michael Lynch. The absolute ignorance of this woman continues to amaze me. Americans are not so foolish as to think NATO members will feel dishonored by the request to pay their dues. Every NATO ally promises to pay 2% of their GDP into military defenses. That is the cost of being a member of NATO. However, 23 of the NATO allies do not meet their obligations. We are, of course, one of the only nations who do pay in, meaning the defense of the whole alliance is a burden American taxpayers shoulder, almost alone. Meeting this obligation is perfectly designed so it can't be a financial burden. As a percentage of GDP, even poor countries should have no problem forking over literally only 2% of their total money. Look, when you have a friend who isn't paying their share into your gatherings, what do? You certainly don't let them take advantage of you for 7 decades. You point out to them what's going on, and they pay up as soon as they can. Only in the irresponsible and overly sensitive liberal world would that friend then be offended. I think the great nations of Europe can handle keeping their promises. All they needed was for an American leader, a real leader, to speak up. Pelosi's next accusation on this subject is even worse. She argued, by showing his disregard for Article 5, President Trump emboldens Russian aggression in Europe. First, Pelosi, the only nations disregarding Article 5 are those not paying into it. President Trump is among the only world leader who is serious about NATO and the responsibilities that come with it. Second, if you think Russia is going to be more aggressive over this innocent statement, then you still aren't listening, Pelosi. We are at war with terrorists. The global threat to Europe and everywhere else is terrorism.